What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Casually K9. I'm your main host, Casey.
And I'm Kate.
And we are so happy to be with you. It is morning here, so cheers with our lattes.
Yeah. Don't do the word slurp in the...
I had to do it off the microphone, though.
Yeah.
This little slurp.
So right before we started this, Casey goes, "Why are you giggling?" And I was just thinking about something from this weekend. So Casey was away this weekend. So I was holding down the fort all weekend. And I had some walk help and stuff like that. So it was no biggie. But Casey was gone this weekend. And so were our dogs. So it gave me a really good opportunity. And I actually really enjoyed it, even though I missed our dogs in the house, of being able to bring the training dogs up. And one of the crews I brought up, I was taking a video showing that I had them up at the house with me. And I listened to it on loud because I wasn't going to put music over it. And I was up here for lunch. I think I had two dogs with me. And all I hear in the video as I turn it up is...
Is you eating?
Me eating. I was having my lunch and I didn't realize. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Were you having one of your tuna melts?
Yes.
I knew it.
Don't pick on me. We should talk about that though. I literally have it every single day now.
She's moved.
Yeah. But I was thinking about it because right when I said don't do the slurp and the thing, and I'm like, ew, Kate, you were so nasty, chewing your open-faced tuna melt on your stories, but I didn't post it like that, obviously.
I feel the same way when I'm on a walk and I'll turn up, let's say I had the phone kind of close to my upper half of my body, and then I'll turn it up and it's just me
I can't.
and I have to put a little disclaimer on it because I'm I don't want to take this video again. Please dismiss my Darth Vader noises in the background.
Well, I noticed that I knew the same thing is when we're taking stories of dogs out on the walk, if we're not just explaining something that's going to be helpful, to be completely honest, we are taking the video to check the box, because especially if Casey's walking dogs, obviously he walks training dogs too and he does a great job at it, but if we have boarding dogs, that's his main priority. So really, to post it, it's just to show that Birdie runs this house.
Yeah.
If people could watch while
I wish you guys could see behind the camera sometimes what's going on with the kids.
So our dogs aren't in command, but Rhodey is just he loves creature or habit. He's on his comfy bed. Birdie's going from spot to spot, deciding where she's going to be the most comfortable.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, so we're usually just taking those kinds of stories just to take them because we get it. Owners love seeing their dogs when they're here and seeing how they're walking with other dogs where they feel that might not be possible. But sometimes it's just we're taking it the second we're starting our walk. And that's right after our steep driveway. Yeah. So I also find myself being yeah. And I'm oh my God, we do this multiple times a day. We work out, we're in shape people, but it sounds as if we've never walked a day in our life.
We're physically fit, but we always tell our clients, because you're always talking when you're walking up the hill too, especially with them.
That's how we start our go home sessions.
And you get up there and you're kind of
I make a joke about it every time.
Yeah, every time
I'm this gets me.
Hill,
yeah, this gets me every time because I'm literally talking the owner through passing their dog off for the first time. And I'm just keep, just like they say on Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, just keep walking. And I know I can always tell by the owner's face that me talking helps them. It keeps them not focused on if their dog's acting crazy or whatever. And then I get to the top and I'm all right, let's take a quick break. Let's say hi to your dog. And I'm just over here trying to catch my breath. But yeah, I was disgusted by myself listening to that story, and part of me, ew, and literally I'm thinking,
were you chewing with your mouth completely open?
Wondering. That's why I feel so hypocritical, because that is, to me, you guys, blood pressure. Okay, two things that just make me go from yeah, cool, chill to I'm so upset.
I'm gonna kill.
Well, that's a little.
I mean, not actually.
But so upset is
whining.
Kind of whining.
Yeah,
that
whining.
That it's you're.
Was that a guessing game or no?
No, I was just doing it to give everyone the you know my two things. And then the other thing is if I'm sitting around people. Even if we're eating at our table having dinner, like I have to have music going because it's not like Casey's sitting there like chewing like,
chewing my cud.
Yeah, like a cow. But like you can hear, even if people's mouths are shut, you can hear the food being disintegrated in their mouth. And I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit right now. He will take bites the size of like 6 people's portions. Like I'll look over and
the size of a school bus.
And what? And literally like, so say, you have something that you're going to like cut up. He might do it in like 2 bites. Like we'll make sometimes these chicken burgers and I'll look over and he's putting half the chicken burger in his mouth on 1 bite. And I'm like, I would first off choke and asphyxiate. And secondly, I'm like, you're going to be hungry if you don't like, take your time. Anyways, I'm getting off topic now, but
no, it's funny though. I totally do that.
So my blood pressure, when I heard myself, I was like embarrassed. I'm sitting by myself. Like no one's judging me except for me. Ew, enough. I can't hear it. I can't. But, yeah, so that's what I was giggling about right before we started the podcast.
I'm totally guilty of eating way too big of pieces of food.
Guys, I'll even look over and like we order Butcher Box, and if you ever want to code, text me. Yeah, text me. No, message me, and I think I have something for like either $20 or $50 off. But anyways, that's a different topic. But we order it monthly, and it's just really high quality meats, and it's easy, like versus going and choosing stuff. Like we get meats at the grocery store too, but not as much. So we always order this specific type of steak that we really like. And that's kind of what we would consider a little bit more our...
Sorry about that.
Oh my God.
Sorry about that.
What is going on?
I almost choked on an ice cube.
Oh, geez. So when we call it like we don't call it our steak night, but when we're having steak, we usually
steak night.
Stop. But we usually have like, a nice vegetable with it. Like I'll do roasted potatoes. Like it's a nicer meal. And steak scares me. Like, and I think it scares you too.
It freaks me out.
But
I had a moment once.
Is putting pieces. Like I cut mine up like I'm a literal toddler because I'm afraid of choking on steak. And because it's tender and it's like really good.
Yeah.
But it's still like tougher than like, pork tenderloin or something like that.
Yeah.
But I look over and he's still putting pieces that I'm like, I feel like I need to supervise because I'm concerned for your health.
There's a couple times I'll have it on my fork and she knows that I'm obviously getting ready to eat this piece and she'll be like, cut that in half.
I'm not trying to be like a mom, but it's like out in public.
No, I get it. Like you don't want me to literally choke.
And not only that, but if we're out in public, this is a big one you do. If we're ordering breakfast, a lot of the times, like I know 3 things that Casey would order for breakfast. Like I can usually guess he's going to either get eggs Benedict, which is probably the most common. He's going to get a meat lover's skillet or a meat or a meat lover's omelet. So when
literally what I got yesterday.
Yeah, I know. And I wasn't even with you. And when he orders the eggs Benedict, I know 4 bites. It's gone in 4 bites because you get your 2 little English muffins with your eggs on it and your Canadian bacon. He literally cuts that in half and it's 1 bite. And so that's
just to be clear, it's not the whole plate in 4 bites.
It's a full English muffin. So that's when I'll look over and he'll have half an English muffin, half an egg, and half a piece of Canadian bacon on his fork. And I'm like, can you cut that in half? Because I'm gonna be sitting here eating still.
Or she'll give me this like.
Yeah, I just give him the look.
And then I set it down and get out my knife.
But to be fair, without it sounding like I'm just being, you even look at it and you're like, oh yeah, like this is like.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes I'm eating with a 15-year-old because it's like he's never eaten in a day in his life. Like sometimes I worry that you're concerned for your next meal.
I only do that though when it's just you, really.
Thanks. I'm so excited that I get your barbaric eating habits. Well, hun, when you say it's just me, it's how often are we like really eating around other people?
That's what I'm saying. No, when we are eating around other people though, I don't know why in my head I'm like, I'm like cutting up all of my food on my plate like really nicely, but then when I'm home, I'm like, oh
my God. Okay,
I don't sound like that.
I feel like at some point we have to talk about that breakfast we had in Maine with those people that were going to be your bosses.
Yeah, I mean, they were my bosses.
Can I talk about that?
First, I just want to say I was gone over the weekend. I was at a family member's wedding, and just going around talking to some cousins and stuff like that. Like, there were quite a few people who listened to this podcast. So
nice.
Thanks so much for your support. We really appreciate it. The OGs.
Yeah, and it's cool that you're listening, even if they're not coming for like any dog training or related stuff, but just to hear what's going on in our life.
So shout out to the fam.
Shout out. I love that.
So yeah,
but
go
okay,
ahead.
I'll give it, because this has literally nothing to do with anything related to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was just an experience of like, you guys will message me of like, Casey was so funny on the podcast today. And even though sometimes he'll put on little voices that I'm like, what is that voice? Like, you don't talk like that. Like, this is actually how he is. And like our banter back and forth is, you know, how we are.
I only put on the little voice when I put on my radio DJ voice
he's a
to
radio DJ, guys. Did you know this?
introduce the podcast. I'm like, what's up, guys? Welcome to...
To me, like, if I'm being honest, you sound stoned. Like, you're like, I'll listen to it in my car when it launches, and I'm like, is he napping? Like, because you're so like, what's up, guys? This is... You know.
I was napping, yep.
Yeah, okay. So, long story short, we lived out in Maine for 10 months. They flew us out there, the people that Casey worked for his like final interview, and for us to come out and see if it was an area that we would live in, and so we could look around, blah, blah, blah. Basically, like, he already had the job. It was just a matter of like convincing me, even though it wasn't convincing. It was just like us having a discussion of, wow, are we going to do this and flip, you know, everything we know upside down, it was a fun experience for us.
Yeah.
But we were at this breakfast with the people that were, I guess, interviewing Casey, and they ended up being one was your boss and one was like another person. Mm-hmm. You guys, and I don't say this, like, when I say this next term, like, please know that I'm saying it lightly, and I know it's a very actual serious thing, but he sounded at the breakfast like he was like stroking out every time he talked. And thank goodness I was there, because like I pulled him through. But I know him so well that I'm like, he's anxious. Like, I think that he already felt kind of like, I've already kind of committed to this, but like being here with Kate, like seeing how big of a change this is going to be for our life. I could tell it wasn't even about talking to them. It was just like, I don't know what it was, but you were just...
Yeah, it was just for sure anxiety about the whole idea.
So if you guys ever are laughing about Casey being like, oh my God, I just like choked on my tongue, or like I just tripped over my words, this was the entire breakfast. I finally looked at him like, please just stop talking.
I couldn't even get a sentence out of my mouth without tripping up on my words.
It was so weird.
Saying the wrong words.
It was
the most common like words out there.
It would be like,
I don't know. It was weird.
It was so weird. And like, I don't know that they necessarily fully noticed. I thought they may have just kind of thought he was like socially awkward, but like, he's not socially awkward. That's the thing. So I felt like, holy crap, like, oh my God, is he okay? So I like make eye contact with him, like, wave a white flag if you need like SOS. Like, what is going on?
What are you doing?
So then he just kind of looks at me like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I'll pull it through, Kate. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's what made me think about it, is I'm pretty sure at that breakfast I look over at one point and you are taking a bite the size of like...
I was probably like, I'm just going to bury myself in this food right now so I cannot even talk back.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know how we got on that topic, but that was funny.
I don't know either.
Yeah. So Anyways. It was a good weekend?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good to see, family members, see my mom and dad and my brothers. And it was good. It was my mom's birthday this weekend too. So
yeah,
it was a good weekend. And yesterday's weather was like, guys, it was like 90 degrees here yesterday.
I'm not going to complain. But
which is like, for this time of year, like October 1st it was yesterday.
Wild.
That's very warm.
Yeah. So when we were doing walks yesterday, because right now it's literally just one night of us having 9 dogs, because and if you guys have been listening to the podcast, you'll probably know exactly who we're talking about. We have one client who has 4 dogs, 4 girls who we just adore her dogs.
They're such good dogs.
They're such good dogs. And it's the Dalmatian puppy Bascom, the one that Casey said that if her family was ever like, we don't want her, which would never happen. They are like so obsessed with their girls, we would take her. They're here for just one night. So I was here by myself for all of like the drop offs and stuff. So I go from like looking in my kennel room to like, okay, 5 dogs to all of a sudden it's 9 dogs. And I'm like, you can get home now. Like I need some help. Like
she was texting me yesterday.
Like, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I was trying to communicate because the way that I look at it,
I gotta look back at it.
Don't totally call me out, but like usually if we go somewhere and like one of us is here with the dogs on our own, and we don't do it often, but like once in a while, guys, we need it. But it's never usually 2 nights with us alone. So we were going on, he was gone Friday night, Saturday, so all day Saturday, and then like it was like getting close to like 11 a.m. on Sunday, and at that point I'm like, hello, it's time for you to like get on the road because it's a 2.5 hour drive and I need your help.
I left here to head to my parents at like 1:30 on Friday
was
and then
fine.
I got back Sunday at like 1:40. So I was gone for 48 hours, but obviously a lot can change in terms of the amount of dogs and work that we can
Well, and it's just different, 2 versus 1. Like I don't do first and last outs. So I did those obviously when Casey was gone, and it's totally fine. I'm like, yeah, I feel back to, the old days.
So this was a text. I'm not going to read all of it. This was a text I got at 10:30 yesterday. Have you left yet? Question mark. I feel pretty overwhelmed and I thought you were leaving earlier.
Hey,
I'm looking at this going, all right, yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm seeing you. Like I was actually already packing up things.
Yeah. It's just there was a lack of communication. So then I had said something like, hey, I know I told you like you don't need to be here for the drop off. I can handle it, but you haven't communicated that with me. So like what should I prepare for?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting because that's the stuff that like I would especially in the past be like, hey, just so you know, you didn't do this, where now I have to communicate that how I'm feeling. And even if it's like me being irrational, it's more helpful for me to say, hey, here's how I'm feeling. And here's where I feel like we need some work on the communication, and that'll make me feel better. And that's exactly what I was doing yesterday. Cause I was just like, help me. Yeah, the dogs were honestly,
you were a deer in the headlights.
It's just looking at 9 dogs is daunting because, obviously my focus is the training dogs, but when we have boarding dogs here, we are not okay with like the dogs sitting in the crates all day. That doesn't happen. Yeah. They probably spend a little more time in the crates than like what they're used to at home, but not if their owners, work away from home, but like they get more than just a walk here with us. Like they get out. I mean, they get to, if it's applicable, they get to come up to our house and hang out. They get to go they get to go on the trail. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get, because that was 6 boarding dogs fulfilled on my own, and then also the training dogs. But it all worked out fine. We had walk help. Obviously, the 4 girls that are here together go out together, and it was all totally fine. But it was more just like, hey, when are you coming home?
Hey,
help me.
I've had enough. I'm ready for you to come back.
Yeah, and I was also just kind of ready to also have like some time off of just like sitting up at the house and doing nothing. So that's where I was at. Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that note, just want to talk a little bit today about something I was kind of thinking about over the weekend, because I had some family members asking me like, how work is for us and how our business is doing. And, I always tell them like, yeah, we're doing awesome. Like, we're very fortunate to have work to be done, dogs coming in, people who trust us to train their dogs, stuff like that. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, not everybody who applies to work with us is a good fit for us. Mm-hmm. And I just want to talk about that. I think we've talked about it before, just maybe hinted at it a little bit on here, but I kind of want to do a little bit of a deep dive into why that is and how we go about kind of reassuring that owner dog, which is going to be a good fit for us and a good fit for them, and it can be more of a talk back and forth with us too, and maybe some things that we've learned from over the years.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest things is we don't get as many applications these days that aren't a good fit. It's actually pretty rare. We do get some for sure.
Yeah.
But the reason it's so rare, we used to get, especially when I first started this on my own, I didn't even know that there was not a good fit, because when you're starting a business, it's like, yes, I will help you because I want to be busy and
you're willing to pay me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're going to pay me? Okay, yes, I'll take your dog. Oh, your dog's trying to maul me? Cool, it's fine.
But you're paying me.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't want to make any changes at home? No problem. I'll fix your dog.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, it's changed a lot over the years of working with people and working with dogs. But I really do feel like I guess weed out would be the right term, a lot of people that might just not be ready for our program, because so much of what we'd see early on was like people wanting us to fix their dog, because it's changed quite a bit from an aspect of what kind of applications we get now versus what we used to get. But it was rare for us to get applications for owners and dogs that just want a really good head start and foundation. It was every single person had a quote unquote problem child dog. Like that was like what built up our business, was tougher dogs, reactivity, bratty behaviors, just tougher, not even like, and not aggression or anything like that. Like,
just
some
more
of them
challenging.
Some of them had aggression tendencies, but no one was really starting with our training, which is interesting because, so then we were getting a lot of dogs that had a lot of, gray areas of communication and stuff like that. And the owners were desperate, but also like they also had patterns for so long of how they did things with their dogs. So we were getting a lot of like, we need you to fix our dog. And it's like, okay, well, I need to fix your lifestyle with your dog before any sort of progress is made with your dog. And so, if we were like ever get applications where it's like, you can tell people are like, I just have zero time to do anything with my dog. Again, and I know people don't mean anything by it, but I need you to fix my dog, that I try to really change their mindset around that phrase, because like, your dog doesn't need fixing. Your dog needs a lot of help learning how to live in your home and have proper communication, but like, your dog isn't broken. So when people, are like, I can fix your dog, or you need to fix my dog, it's like, no, we need to work on your guys' relationship together. And we need to implement some new things and all of that. But
would you say that when somebody says, like, let's say, I know you said like sometimes it's not always taken the way that maybe they want it to be taken, like fix. When somebody says fix my dog, or like I need help with fixing my dog, something like that, do you usually ask a question like talking about what we can possibly do with our dog in terms like just the word fix is such a we're not going to fix. Like in our minds, we're thinking that fixing is like your dog's going to be 100% like never make a mistake ever again in their life. Like that's not really possible.
No, I don't really like directly say, hey, I see that you want me to fix your dog. I don't say that, but what I will say in response, if it is someone that I'm reading the application, I'm like, hey, they just need some help with their thought process around, because other things are like, oh, this sounds, like a person that's really trying. Like, I wouldn't see I need you to fix my dog and like be like, nope, this person's not a client for us, not by any means. But what I do make sure to preface in my response back is like, hey, I just want to make sure that this is extremely clear that, a board and train is just a head start for you and your dog. Like, there is going to be a lot of work post board and train, and almost feel like more work than even currently, because of the new patterns you guys will have to implement like this. So I very much like go on about how this is a head start. Your dog at the end of the day is a living being that you're going to have ebbs and flows just like we do. So I very much instead of being like, hey, you said you want me to fix your dog. I don't like that you said that. No, that's not helpful. It's, I just approach it in a different way of like, here's what I'm hearing. Here's my feedback, and hopefully helping them kind of shift their mindset of this being a head start to a new relationship with their dog, of almost like making them feel excited about what's possible, but also almost kind of like, ooh, I need to really make sure I'm prepared for this, because the last thing I want people to think when their dog goes through a board and train, even though they see their dogs going and doing all these things with us, is that it's going to be easy back home. Yes, I want to make your feedback with your dog easier, but the work that still has to take place in lifelong with your dog. Like, we're constantly still communicating with our dogs and, you know, doing a lot of like letting them know they're doing a good job. And also some, hey, no, we don't do that. So that's more of the approach. But if I see just a bunch of red flags, and what that would be for me is like, I can tell the owner's just totally sugarcoating the dog's behaviors, and not from a way of like being nervous to be honest, but in a way of just like, my dog's at this point kind of an annoyance to me, and I can kind of tell that. And like, we have a really busy family. We're never, you know, we want our dog to just listen because it should listen in our household. I don't get a lot of that, but when I see that, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, like, can you imagine?
Are we being fair to this dog?
Right. Like,
also?
imagine that pressure. Like, I want a well-mannered dog too. Don't get me wrong, but that's from a lot of freaking hard work and making sure I'm being fair to the dog. So there's some stuff that, and I'll talk to those people, of course, but then I'm just like, hey, like, I don't know that this is the right route for you. Then maybe we start with a virtual coaching session. I always give people other options, but I never ever want people to think that a board and train is a fix, or it's, you know, the end all be all. It's, you know, super important that people are looking at the long-term benefit from the head start, not the, when I pick my dog up in 2 weeks, they're going to be perfect. Like, not realistic.
I think it's important to note that when we say head start, like, we say head start because, and you constantly remind this of owners when they're here as well, your dog is with us for 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending upon the program, of their whole life. And we say that so it puts it into perspective that we're going to adjust a lot of behaviors when they're here. We can probably get further sometimes than we think that we can with certain dogs. Depends on the dog, depends on how they were set up before. But we say that so we are just reminding our owners that this is a very small snippet of their pet's life.
Yeah. And now we've talked about this whole board and train thing and preparing. So now we need to get back to like what you wanted to talk about is picking clients. But that's just a huge, constant for us, is making sure that that's really clear and understood. And if I respond back to that and people are kind of like, oh, like, they probably won't move forward, or either if it's their choice, or they might respond back of just being like, you know, I don't know. I haven't really had anyone respond back of being like, well, no, I don't want just a head start. But I'll have some people just like not respond. And that's okay, because then that tells me that that wasn't the right fit for either of us. So there really isn't a ton that come in now that the only other thing that will be a big one for me is when people apply and know nothing about us, because that's a problem for me, because it's not from a lack of us not having stuff out there about us. Like, that's where it's like, we have, so I'm guessing some people like find us through Google, and we ask on the application if people did, and they probably just go right to what we offer, board and train. They read like, these are the things your dog's going to learn, apply, because they're probably feeling like stressed with their dog's behaviors. It's usually not people just reaching out. And I love when owners do this because they know they have a dog coming and they want to get on the schedule. No, it's usually people that are like, I need help now. And it's like, okay, well, help is not usually available right now. So then if I see that, I'm kind of like, I even ask on our application, are you currently following K9 on Instagram? If you're not, please follow this link and follow to get a really good feel for us and our program. So if I ever get people, and even on our application, you have to sign off to know that we work with e-collars, prong collars, slip leads, all of these different training tools. So if I ever get people that are like, wait, but you e-collar train? Like, I don't want to e-collar train. I'm like, okay, there's nothing on any of our content that we're trying to hide that we train with e-collars.
Yeah.
So that's where it's a little bit like you have not done your like research, and it's fine if you don't want to go that route, but like then don't apply and then try to ask me not to use what our program is.
Yeah.
That's where it's like,
I was just
no.
going to say, for some people who have followed us for a long time and are very familiar with the work that we do, you're probably like, how would you not know? Mm-hmm. But believe me, guys, there are situations, not necessarily from us, but we've heard from other people who work with dogs where they have had situations like this before. And it just seems so obvious to us because we do it day in and day out. We preach this, but it happens, believe us.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean that
like people will apply for training and not know any of the tools that will be used there. And then sometimes they have a problem with it. Yeah.
And obviously for us, like there is no moving forward. I don't check to see like, because again, it's on our application that you sign off knowing the tools that we use, but I'll usually know by the time, because like even in our invoice that we send over for the deposit, it says, and this does include the price of the e-collar and blah, blah, blah. If something's going to be like catches them, there is plenty of spots now that they've seen it and read it that it's like, I've never had someone show up and like not know that their dog's being e-collar trained. I'm sure that has happened to other people, but like that's never happened because again, all the information we put out there. So that's where it's like, you know nothing about us. Like, I'm not saying that we won't work together, but like go take some time before you make this big decision, because it's not only a big financial decision, it's a big, chunk of time, even though we feel like it flies by, but it's a large chunk of time for a dog to be away. And like, we want you to trust us and be so excited about your dog going and coming to Canine. Like, whether that's with us at our location or with Jen, like there would be no hesitation for me to like, again, and I'm biased because it's my business, but like I would send my dogs to us or to Jen in a heartbeat. So it's like, I want owners to feel that way. Nerves are normal. Like I wouldn't expect people to not feel nervous and stuff like that. But I really want people to feel good about it. And if I'm ever getting a feeling in my gut that like, this owner's really hesitant because of either the training tools or because of anything else, like I want to understand that. And if I tell them like, please, like if anything in your gut's telling you like, don't move forward with this, please don't. Because I really want you to be excited. Like, I don't want you to be like, oh, I guess I'll try this. It's like, no, like we have people drive their dogs up from, Alabama. We've had dogs fly in from Seattle, and this isn't a, ego moment. It's a reality of like, that's the level of trust we've built with some people over Instagram, where we have a dog in right now who's from Alabama, and the owner gets out of their car and they're like, we know there's other trainers in our area, but like, we trust you guys. Like we feel drawn to you guys. And that's the level of excitement that we want owners to come to us with. And if it's anything but that, it's like, we want it to feel good for everyone.
And that's why I know we've talked about this before, but we put so much effort into our content that we put out there so people get really, really familiar with us. Mm-hmm. So when they show up, it's like, how you guys doing? I feel like I just saw you on Instagram. Like you're the exact same people. Yeah. Like, we welcome them in with open arms. We take their dogs and we get to work. And
like when we get a drop off from somewhere like Alabama, like I'm extremely humbled by that.
Totally.
And it's interesting because she got out of her car, and again, this is her words, not mine. She's like, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity right now. And like that, and I've heard that a few times. I'm like, that'll never get old, because like, I don't get that whatsoever, because I'm 100% not. But like, that's the level of like connection that I feel also to a lot of our followers and stuff like that. Like I will recognize, people that are constantly supporting us. I'm like, oh, it's that person. Like they're so nice. They're so supportive, and like really try to interact with those people. But yeah, so like we want it to feel good. We want to make sure that owners are excited. Nerves are normal, like I said, but if there's hesitancy, I will never, ever convince anyone to work with us. I will not convince them that the tools are okay. Will I educate? Yes, but we already educate every single day by showing our work every single day, that like, if they had a question of like, hey, we've never used this, could you give me a little bit more understanding of XYZ on the e-collar or on the prong collar, sure. But if it's like, oh, well, I just don't feel like my dog needs it, or it's like, that's okay. But like, we are an e-collar program. So,
yeah,
there's other options out there for you. So
yep, for sure.
Okay.
It's just such an interesting topic. And I feel like somebody from the outside doesn't know how I don't want to say pick and choose, but we look through those questions. We get those answers back from people asking about those certain things. And it's just a reality of like business in general.
And I know that some trainers probably have a really hard time like saying no when it's like, okay, well, that's a paycheck. And I get it. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But like, I also know that I have brought people on board because of that pressure and that feeling. And it was stressful having their dog with me, not because of the dog, but because of those owners. And that was years ago at this point. We've had it from time to time of it being like, okay, this is a little bit of a tougher situation, but
we also need to set ourselves up for success too,
because
as well as the dog. So that's,
and it's like one of those things where it's like, it's not just like this, people's dogs come to us and, set it and forget it. Like the amount of commitment that it takes for us to meet the dogs at a point where it's like we'd want our dogs met at is not just the day in, day out of working with the dog. It's thinking like, I have to go through either a mid session, a full go home with this owner, knowing that we provide support when these dogs go home. Like, I don't want someone that questions every little thing in a way of like, not just asking questions, but like second guessing me, doesn't trust me to be a canine client, because afterwards my owners know that if you reach out to me and you're working your butt off at home, we are here for you.
We're here to help.
You are truly like a part of the canine family after that. So if I'm picking people that it's like, I wouldn't want in my circle, like it just doesn't, I'm sure from time to time it happens if someone's like, hey, we wouldn't like necessarily go on a trip together and be best friends, but like, I want it to be where it's like, I don't feel immediate anxiety when I see that owner reaching out to me. And who wants to be that person? Like, I really like, not that I'm not really a people pleaser, to be honest, but like, I think about it if I go and, get a massage or, get something hair done or whatever, like I want the person I'm paying, even though I'm paying, to find me, I want to be a client that they're looking forward to interact with. And I'll still voice if there's like something I don't like or something I want changed. But I want to work with people that respect us as much as we respect them. Yeah. And that's crucial.
Yeah, when you say you don't think you're much of a people pleaser, I think that you are, but in a different way. You meet people where they're at.
Right, but that doesn't make me a people pleaser. I'm definitely not a people pleaser. Like, I won't be a person where it's like, you're telling me this and I'll be like, okay, well, that's fine. Like, yep, we can do it that way. Like, no, that is not me whatsoever.
I understand that.
I'm very, like, I will have a conversation with the person. I'm very respectful about my approach. Yeah. But I'm there's nothing about me that's a people pleaser.
Yeah. When you get tough love, Kate, you're always going to get also respect from us and Kate. So I think people kind of know us and know you for that little bit of I don't want to say edginess, but like
I'm okay with that. I am an edgy person.
Because let's not sugarcoat it. Like you need to hear the truth sometimes about the certain behaviors going on. So I think that's kind of what sets us apart a little bit, is our ability to do that respectfully. Yeah.
It's like brutal honesty without feeling brutal is how I feel like, because, again, my clients that I've had to have those moments with, like, they're some of my best clients, and I feel like they really respect me and I respect them, and vice versa. And, it's not that they're like, oh, I can't believe she said that to me. It's more of like I know it's something I needed to hear, but so that's kind of in a nutshell, that sort of situation.
Yeah. And again, like this whole process that we've just talked about, like this is just a little bit of it, but it is, we've gotten this way over a couple years of doing this. So learning from certain things that we've had in the past, adjusting on our form. Again, that form is lengthy because there's a lot of questions on there that we're going to ask you anyways. Mm-hmm. So let's get it out. Let's get it out in the open, and let's see if we're a good match.
Yeah.
So Cool.
Should we
I
bring
love
it
that.
home?
Yeah. Let's bring it. We'll be our home.
No, like let's bring.
All right.
You know,
How do you want to bring it home today?
We got to do our peeve and highlight.
Okay. Are you like ready? I see you smiling over there.
No, I'm not necessarily ready, but okay. I have my peeve, and I'm very peeved that our kitchen's not finished. You guys haven't gotten an update, but there is a piece of this and that I look at every single day, that every single day I get a little upset. And yeah, so that's my peeve.
Is it that one right there?
And the fact that we have a piece of floorboard that has been off for months.
It's not floorboard.
Whatever it is, trim.
Baseboard.
Baseboard. And it just needs to get done is what I'm saying.
So do you want me to work on that this week?
Oh, I've wanted you to work on it weeks ago, but well, this is what's happened is it's turned into now Casey says he's going to finish it. So I'm sort of throwing you under the bus, but I'm like, okay, well then let's just get it freaking done. So I'm super over, and this isn't even just a you thing. There's a person that we still haven't heard back from, that we have stuff on order, things that need to get fixed. And it's again a first world problem, but it's a problem because we put a lot of money into this kitchen, and it was a lot of freaking hard work. When I look at it, like I'm sure some other people's brains work this way, where it's I look at this and I'm like, okay, that was however many dogs that we had come through, like, you know. So really, the kitchen, it's not a person, the kitchen is my peeve. And there's a lot of people that
the kitchen is not a person.
I'm just saying, like, I don't want it. It's not like a just you thing, because it's not all in your control. I'm just fricking over it, and I'm about to just like fix it myself, and that'll look bad. That's my peeve. What's your peeve?
I think I'm gonna work on it a little bit this week.
Sounds great. Because after today, we have our three training dogs. No more boarders for this week. I did that on purpose because of the 2 shepherds that we have in. They're just more challenging dogs.
Yeah, they're 3-weekers.
Yeah, and the breed in general, I love German shepherds, but the vocalness, the drive, great aspects of them, but it's tough. So I made sure that this week we just have training dogs and no boarders, because in the following week we're going hard. We've got 3 shadow students.
Going hard.
The dogs go home. We've got go homes, drop offs.
Nice.
It's next week is gonna be crazy. So
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll work on it a little bit this week. I'll be honest that the pricing on some of the materials that we've been getting quotes on to finish this little back piece that we're looking at right now, it's the back of the peninsula. It's outrageous pricing. It's a piece of flimsy board that's $400 a piece.
But I'm over here like, let's just get it done and spend the money. So that's where we differ a little bit on that stuff. Is like, I don't want to spend. It's more than $400
to finish this. If I were to get it quoted from like the manufacturer and get it from like the dealer that we bought it from, it's like, for 5 pieces of wood, it's like $1,200, and I just have a hard time swallowing that pill to do that. And I know we want it done, so we're gonna get it done one way or another.
And I look at it as like, we've already spent so much money, and it's like, we look at it every single day. So now like my anger around it is worth $1,200. I'm getting pissed.
You're
I need to
pointed
stop looking
straight at it. You need to turn that way. I think we should switch chairs.
Yeah. Okay, what's your peeve of the week? And you can be honest. You don't have to go into any like details or anything like that. But
what?
Well, I just know that like a lot of people. Oh, should I whisper to you?
Yeah, tell me what you think.
No, I just feel like there's been an what's the word I'm looking for? You've had a lot of situations this week, not with us, that like people's communication really made you struggle, and like not just.
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, but that's just not even like a specific person, but it's just like this kind of stuff.
So I'll say this. I'll kind of say it in a broad way. I feel like I go out of my way, and we in general go out of our way to communicate in the way that we would want to be communicated with, and that is communication about like everything, every detail, every instance. If we're meeting somebody somewhere, whether it's family, friend, whatever it is, I feel like we go out of our way. And lately I feel like that hasn't been. This isn't like, I'm not pointing out anybody on here specifically, but I feel like it hasn't been reciprocated back to me and us, and that is a pet peeve of mine this week. So it's just something I'm kind of realizing that it's really important to have those things, and we just put so much effort into doing these things. Like I said, family, friends, whatever it is, and I feel like sometimes I'm the only one who is actually communicating and getting these things lined up, going out of
Hey, what was that? He agrees.
Yeah, thank you, Ro.
Yeah.
Going out of our way to make sure that everybody's included, everybody knows time frames of certain things. So I'm sure there are other people listening who very much can agree with this. Yeah. So I don't know if it's just a stage in life right now. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely something that's been on my mind.
Mm-hmm. That was like a sleepy bark.
Yeah, woo.
He's sleeping and he wakes up. Whoa.
He's having a little bad dream.
Okay, man.
So what's your highlight, would you say?
My highlight of the week. I mean, God, I'm so cheesy these days. But I would say like when we were this week interviewed on another podcast and we talked a lot about
that's another highlight, I would say.
Honey, you didn't say a highlight at all.
Oh my God.
What is going on? That was your peeve. Relax.
Sorry.
Yeah. But we were, oh my God, it just went really.
My bad. I'm sorry. I just jumped at you there.
Holy man. Who's the reactive dog? But yeah, we were interviewed on another podcast and we talked a lot about like our relationship and us working together. And then like these kinds of things that happen throughout the week that like force us, or not even force us, but like make us communicate even more. Like, it's so cheesy, but like we will tell each other, and I feel like it's been really the last like 6 months, especially like how freaking thankful we are for our relationship. Like
I would say longer than that. I would say over a year now we've been talking about certain situations.
I just feel like it's been like we've vocalized it a ton of recent of just like, and that's not how we've always been. I think that's the thing that's like so cool about it is like, I think about, and I even look back at pictures of us, like we were literally babies when we started dating. Like we were different people. Like
we were 16 and 18.
Yeah. Guys. Like such different people that I'm like, how cool is it that we have like grown together and actually enjoy the shit out of each other every single day. Like that is like, I wish more people got to feel that. And there's things that we like drive each other nuts on, but not even that much. Like really like the amount of things that we like argue on, or we more do like we're gonna pick at each other type of thing because hello, you live with someone and spend majority of your days with them. There's
everybody has little things that they don't love about their partner.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much that you couldn't love about me, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I'm just like, again, a reflection of like how thankful I am, not just for you, but like our relationship and our dynamics. And even just like, even though we didn't get to like, I was already walking dogs and stuff when you got home, but like just seeing that you guys were home, I'm like, yay, they're home. Like, oh, family.
Oh, man over there.
Okay. Man said he's ready for a little walkie. But yeah, so
that's cute,
that's
honey.
my highlight. Okay. Ew, let's not be too cheesy.
Yeah, my highlight, like I jumped at you earlier, is we were interviewed on, go check it out, it's Pure Energy Dog Training's podcast. What's the name of it? Is it just
I think it's Pure Energy Dogcast, yeah.
Pure Energy Dogcast. So go check it out. Or go to their Instagram page and go check it out too. But it's fun.
We even talk about things of like when I was in my current or my past role, like I didn't feel like we would stay married. So like we really
don't talk about dogs at all. We talk about our relationship and how we've grown and how we managed to keep it all together and work together and like thrive doing that. So if you want some more information about that, go check it out.
Mm-hmm. I shared it on my stories too.
Stacy and Travis are really cool people. Mm-hmm. And we met them back about a year ago. They both came
in person.
Yeah. In person. Stacy was here for our trainer and use seminar. And Travis was along as well, so we got to meet. And they're cool people, really good people. So that was fun to do. And
a little hike with your doggies?
Yeah. At any time I go back to see my parents, I love to go on a hike with them in one of my favorite spots. And it's just so relaxing. This time of year, the leaves are changing, so it's really beautiful. It was there was rain coming in, so we kind of had to get in quick and get out. But it's one of my most favorite things to do with our dogs.
It's actually a ski hill. So Casey will go up to like the face of the mountain with the dogs.
Yeah, we'll go up the steep ski runs with the dogs.
Cool because Casey also made snow on that
Yep.
resort, I guess you would call it, ski resort.
Yep, I worked there.
And so, yeah, it's cool to see it and all of the, I'm a little jealous that we don't get the colors like we get back in our hometown. It's called Wausau. And they get such good colors.
Yeah, just different kinds of trees.
Like it's still, I'm not mad about it, but like it's still so green here.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't, like we get a lot of yellow, I feel like.
We get a lot of dingy yellow, some red, but not like.
There's only like one tree one of our neighbors has that's like, is that a big maple? That's like beautiful orange or something.
Yeah, some of the maples, like they have a lot of maples up by our parents' house, and it just really makes it really colorful. We don't have as many here where we live. It'll still be pretty, but it just looks a little different.
Yeah. Well, this was an enjoyable one. I enjoyed being back here with you.
Yeah, enjoyed catching up and showing you guys a little bit of how we pick people out to work with.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, enjoy your Tuesday, and we will see you next week. As always, share with a friend.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars. What Casey says is if you don't give us 5 stars, leave. Or what did you say?
Don't listen to us again.
But we appreciate you. We are thankful that we have this opportunity to do this together and that we're not just doing it and no one's listening. We appreciate you being here. So
yeah. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.